Chapter 2. And in this manner Edward day passed, one into the other. Nothing remarkable happened. Oh, there was the occasional small domestic drama. Once while Abilene was at school, the neighbor's dog, a male brindle boxer explicitedly named Rosie, came into the house unified and announced and lifted his legs on the dining room table, spraying the white tablecloths with urine. He then trotted over and sniffed Edward, and before Edward even had time to consider the complication of being sniffed by a dog, he was in Rosie's mouth, and Rosie was shaking him back and forth, vigorously growling and drooling. Fortunately, Abilene's mother walked past the dining room and witnessed Edward's suffering. "Drop it!" she shouted to Rosie, and Rosie, surprised and obedient, did as he was told. Edward's silk suit was stained with jewels, and his head ached for several days afterwards, but it was his echo that was suffering the most damage. Abilene's mother had referred to him as it, and she was more frustrated by the dog urine on her tablecloths than she was about to iniquity. And then Edward had suffered at the jaws of Rosie, and then there was the time that's made new to the TULANE household, and eager to impress her employers with her diligence, came upon Edward sitting on his chair in the dining room. "What's this bunny doing here?" she said out loud. Edward did not care at all for the word bunny. He found it decorative in the extreme. The maid bent over him and looked into his eyes. "Humph," she said. She stood back up. She put her hands on her hips. "I reckon you're just like every other thing in the house." Something needed to be cleaned and dusted, and so the maid vacuumed Edward TULANE. She stuffed each of his long ears up to the vacuum cleaner hose. She puffed his clothes and beat his tail. She dusted his face with brutality and efficiency, and in his zeal to clean him, she vacuumed Edward's gold pockets watch right off his laps. The watch went into the moss of vacuum cleaner with a stressing clank that the maid did not even seem to hear. When she was done, she put the dining room chair back at the table, and uncertain about exactly where Edward belonged, she finally decided to shove him in among the dolls on a shelf in Abilene's bedroom. "That's right," said the maid. "There you go." She left Edward on the shelf on most awkward and inhuman angle. His nose was actually touching his knees, and he waits there with the doll twittering and giggling at him like a flock of defense and unfriendly bird, until Abilene came from his home school and found him missing, and ran from room to room calling his name. "Edward!" she shouted. "Edward!" There was no way, of course, for him to let her know he was. No way for him to answer her. He could only sit and wait when Abilene found him. She held him close, so close that Edward could feel her heart beating, leaping almost out of her chest in its ignition. "Edward," she said. "Oh, Edward, I love you. I never want you to be away from me." The rabbit too was experiencing a great emotion, but it was not love. It was annoyance that he had been mightily inconvenienced, that he could be handled by the maid as cavalierly as an animation object, a sovereign bowl, say, or a teapot. The only satisfaction to be had from the whole affair was that the new maid was dismissed immediately. Edward Pocket's watch was located later deep within the bowls of the vacuum cleaner, dense but still in working condition. It was returned to him by Abilene's father, who presents it with a smoking bow. "Sir Edward," he said, "your timepiece, I believe." The Rosie affair and the vacuum cleaner accidentally, those were the great dramas of Edward's life until the night of Abilene's 11th birthday, when, at the dinner table as the cake was being served, the ship was emotioned.